Oh, okay. I think we're going. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Saturday Morning Mastermind. I'm your host, Samantha Studebaker-Carl, and I'm here with my good friend Karen. And today we're going to be talking about the chapter entitled "Abilities" in the book Leonardo and Gabriel by Tim Tigner. And we've been kind of talking about this book for a little bit now, and I think we've all been enjoying it pretty good. But before we get started with it, I'm going to give Karen an opportunity to jump out and introduce herself, and then we can get chatting.
I live in the Valley of the Sun area of the southwest part of the United States, which is basically Phoenix, Arizona area, and I live in the East Valley of the East Valley, or I live in the East Valley of the Valley of the Sun. I actually live in a town called Mesa, and I've been calling around the country, as many probably have been, with making Christmas orders and having whatever happens in the way I follow up from that, and I've been hearing it pronounced Mesa. So I'm not sure what the background of that is, because it's certainly not, supposedly the Spanish-speaking people are going to overcome the English-speaking people in America very soon, and then following that, we're going to have the Asian-speaking people overcoming all the Spanish and English speakers. At least that's how I've heard it said. So I guess we could hear all of our cities with several different pronunciations. That's my observation for the morning.
That's funny. It's interesting that you mentioned that, and something completely on a different subject. But when my daughter-in-law moved up here, of course she's from South Georgia, so she has kind of a southern accent, and they pronounce things different just down there, and they're not Hispanic or Asian, or they're just country folks, and but she came up here, and of course up here we say pecans for pecan pie, and down there they say pecan or pecan pie. So it was kind of one of those things that I noticed. It was like, oh, pecans versus pecans. So as far as pronunciations go, I thought it was pronounced Mesa. Is that what you said? Mesa? Yeah, that's what
I mean, the people who live here call it Mesa because, and it really is a Spanish word. So if it was the Hispanic customer service that I had gotten, they would have been saying Mesa. But of course, one thing I distinguish living in the Phoenix area is when I've gotten somebody from India on the phone. And I finally got to the point of exasperation, because I was asking her, I couldn't understand why I couldn't get my TV I had ordered to be my monitor to be not shipped to me, to be delivered to me locally. And she, of course, I couldn't tell if she didn't understand what I
froze up.
Near Superstition Springs Mall. And if the warehouse isn't there, just tell me where the warehouse is. I could probably get myself to the warehouse. And she says it's in Minnesota. And I said, are you in Minnesota? And she said, and I said, well, you sound like you're from India. And she was retaining her politeness, so she didn't knock back at me.
Right.
I can tell you now that it's nearly a quarter after. I think. Oh, never mind. I'm still on the wrong. I'm still on the wrong time for having pushed that button in the note. Yeah.
I gotcha. Well, it's kind of speaking on the topic of people interpreting things in different ways. That's kind of what this chapter starts us off as. Is that Leonardo's, kind of in the beginning, he's still trying to figure out what he wants to do or how he wants to paint the face of Jesus and Judas, right? Sorry, I lost the name in my head. And so anyway, Gabriel comes to him in a dream, and they're talking about defining God. And so it's really interesting because they come up with a few different things to begin with. And of course, they're discussing, how different people might view him, and and so they're like, well, since we have all different points of opinion, we need to come up with a way to define God that is kind of outside of opinion necessarily. And so he says, we'll just start by sketching God on a clean canvas, and we'll start without any assumptions and build up from there. So he says, our first move will delineate the qualities that define God and only God. Each quality will, in effect, become a premise of our proof. And so Leonardo is excited because he's very familiar with the tactic of creating a case by logically thinking and simply arranging supporting facts, and then it makes it so that logic makes sense. So they're trying to decide how is God defined. So anyway, start going into that conversation. So what are you thinking, Karen?
Well, I know that. I'm not sure. Am I copying this background noise?
Are you getting background?
I am.
Okay, mute out while you're talking.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm not getting it now. I know we're going to talk about abilities, and this is a really choice chapter. But I have to throw in, since now I do have the full time, I'm glad I'm not going to be interrupted. I want to throw in a few things that have come up for me in the fact that I have finished reading a Stephen King book called something from a Buick 8. I don't ever recall hearing a lot about that particular book, so maybe you haven't heard about that. And I found it quite boring, probably through about half of it. But the last several pages basically look like I have mashed the palm of my hand on each page coming out of the dishpan, because you know how with a little bit of water your pages get kind of rumbly or whatever. Because I was thinking, if I'm going to share this book, I'm going to have to share every last page. I mean, just a lot of good stuff, good Stephen King stuff. Because I think Stephen King is one of the more observant human beings on the planet at our time. You read any of his books, whether you like them or not, you get that he really doesn't miss much. If he meets you, he's probably going to be able to describe you later, and you'll probably recognize yourself, even if it's 20 years later. And I am starting another of his books because it was brought to me by one of the residents here, and it's the book that follows The Shining. I've never read The Shining, and I haven't seen that movie because I always see that poster of that look that Jack Nicholson has on his face. I've never thought I could bear that particular movie. So, but the reason I'm bringing all of this up is I think that it's going to be important for us to recognize how Leonardo views the priest, the monk, the whomever representative of the church that's normally in the church where he's trying to paint this Last Supper. He's this man is being bossy to him. I don't know. When I would think when you're an artist as great as Leonardo, someone that has known as well known as Leonardo, even in his day. I mean, he was probably the most well-known person around. And yet this priest, monk, whomever, takes it upon himself to speak sharply to him, bark orders at him, call him lazy, report to someone higher than him that Leonardo doesn't seem to be doing any work. And I think that that's really fascinating, because I basically feel that I've experienced some of that here. And because our listeners, or in particular, well, since it's only you and I on the call today, anybody else who knows about this call will be our listeners, and probably may not know, I happen to be a resident in a care home, in a long-term care home, and I'm saying that I'm a resident here because I went and met someone down the street yesterday, and she had assumed that I was a caretaker. I mean, it didn't even cross her mind that I was a resident here. And I realized I probably, in some people's minds, don't come across as a resident of a long-term care facility. So I want to mention that with that viewpoint, or that perspective, one might ask of someone who might simply find me or say, if you're so miserable here, why don't you leave? And then eventually says, we want you gone. Who's the caretaker? Am I the caretaker, or are they the caretaker? And Leonardo actually talks about this prior. Oh, I guess I didn't realize that prior is something else. This prior Jeffrey, he when he does go back after he's had this meeting that we talked about last week, hi Catherine, nice to see you. After that meeting, he feels like he'd like to. I mean, one thing he feels like he'd like to do is jump in some icy water, get himself kind of more awakened and motivated to go back to painting. And he realizes that he better not, that he better, just get on to where he's going. And when he does that, there's Prior Jeffrey, with his arms crossed across his chest. Sometimes in a judgmental way, and he has squinty eyes looking at him with satisfaction. And Leonardo's thought is hardly a pious pose. And I just wanted to mention, before we get going into these abilities, which one would think that a higher positioned person in the Catholic Church should have the ability to distinguish the person who's going to distinguish those abilities, who's been chosen to distinguish those abilities, is Leonardo. And this Prior Jeffrey is doing everything in his power to make him feel smaller, or point out to him that he doesn't think all that much of him. I feel like that's out.
Well, I think that's interesting, because I feel like that happens a lot of times with people who are more introspective versus people who are more outspoken. And I don't know if it's in a lot of war situations, or just in general, is that people feel intimidated by folks that don't have as much to say necessarily, or even people that look like they aren't doing anything, but in reality for them they are actually doing something. And then other people who are just like, they feel like they're just like running around like a crazy person, and have so much to do, and then here's this person just laying around doing nothing. But in fact, Jeffrey has no idea what Leonardo is actually doing, and it's not really Leonardo's place to tell Jeffrey, because he wasn't anyway. But I think that, I don't know, I've experienced that before, where somebody just kind of looked at me and like, you may not understand. So um, that's my thoughts on that part. How are you today, Catherine? Good.
I'm good. I have to agree with you. I'm one of those people that doesn't talk a whole lot, and people are suspicious of me, especially if I'm not talking and I'm smiling because, I'm enjoying the scenery or thinking about something. But people are always like, they either take it as an insult or they're suspicious or something. And I mean, if there's nothing to talk about, there's nothing to talk about. If I don't want to know how you're doing, I'm not going to ask you how you're doing. Maybe that's rude. It's like, it's, people just always want to fill up the silence with words, and even if they are meaningless or nobody cares about them. And I'm like, what's the point? Just be quiet and enjoy quiet or whatever.
Absolutely. I'm there with you. I remember when I was in high school that I would hear rumors of somebody talking about me. I wouldn't really care, but I would just hear these rumors. They would say that they thought that I was stuck up, and I'm like, I haven't even had a conversation with you. How can you think I'm stuck up? But well, whatever. People are funny like that. They just get these ideas in their head about what somebody is like, and just because of what they don't say, which is kind of ridiculous if you ask me, but this is what it is, right? Oh, there you go, Karen. That's a better view. Okay, let's see a little closer. Yeah. Cool. But yeah, I like the fact that Leonardo is kind of meditating on, or maybe he's napping and dreaming, but he's just meditating on the different aspects of God and how uh, even if it is Gabriel that is telling him these things to think about, it's a subconscious mind that's kind of create Gabriel in his mind that he's coming up with on his own. Maybe he actually is getting a vision from an angel who's helping him work through this problem. And either way, it's really interesting how he kind of comes to this conclusion of let's figure God out like a math problem almost. So, do we want to start talking about the different abilities they're discussing?
I know I had a thought. Oh, sorry. I know I had a thought in there while you were talking that I really didn't want to share. I don't know if I can pull that up. It seemed to slime away. This is it. He does wonder a lot. This is the early part of things, and he wonders a lot if this really is a dream or if the angel is really there. And he says to Gabriel that he's glad to see him, and he thought maybe it was just a dream. And Gabriel says to him, no, you just lost the ability to see for a period of time. And I have long taken offense, I guess you might say, about the idea that God would put a veil between himself, herself, whatever you want to think, and us. I've contemplated what the veil might be to the extent that I have thought the veil might be the body. We slip into a body and then we come out as a human, and we've forgotten basically whatever the hell else we were before, and it's really difficult to get to it. But the senses that we talk about are usually senses that have to do with our bodily features, and so here again we have this talk about whether or not we can see things, and that basically Gabriel saying when you and I talk, it's really clear to you, it is so clear to you that the first time you and I talked, you were able to bring it all up in total detail. You were able to memorize exactly what it was and then be able to pass it on. And you're going about the rest of your life, and you're talking with the high class guy, the cool Italian name that he talked to in the last group of things that we talked about. That's not as much reality as this is. And those of us who have been involved with the Abraham Hicks stuff, the Teal stuff, I know Catherine's been involved with a lot more people than I have, but I've been involved with more people than them. You get the awareness that what we consider reality isn't all that real. And I just wanted, before we start to get into these abilities, we have this background awareness, because a lot of the people who I think are missing from this conversation that have been with us in other books are not open to considering this background. I've been to Catherine's site recently, the Live Dream. I mean, I'm going to botch it up because I have it in mind as clearly as you do. But I love that site, and I especially love the comments from the various people who have been on our panel before. And there is a gal that I really miss her. I always enjoyed her sharing, but I knew that we were probably diametrically opposed in our belief system, and I could tell that she was pretty offended about anybody having a different belief system than what she did. In other words, it's all Christ, it's all God, it's all however she sees the Trinity or doesn't see the Trinity, and we should all God bless everyone, that we're all the same, when in actuality we all see things differently, and hopefully are coming to a place during the course of our life where we can feel good about that, about ourselves. And I'm muting out to say I'm shutting up.
Thank you for your comment on my site. I haven't been on my site in so long. Like I just told myself yesterday, I have to get on there and update things. I'm not on Facebook in so long, and I have so many friends there, and I think about all of them all the time, But I just am in this vicious work cycle right now where I'm just exhausted when I get home at night, and I don't have any energy to get on there and try to catch up with everybody. But I need to get on there, and I'm trying to maybe just give people a different way of looking at things sometimes. I guess, what I would be called paranormal experiences, which are to me normal experiences. I didn't request it; it just kind of showed up in my life, but they changed my life. Like, they changed the way I looked at everything, and I think the body is veil. I do. I think the body. Some people do learn how to open up, and some people are naturally gifted to open up. But I think the body is the veil. It kind of, if you just think about what you go through in a day, let's say that something's, annoying hell out of you, but then somehow something else catches your attention, and then you might realize 2 hours later, oh yeah, that was annoying the hell out of me, but now I don't even think about it because, now I'm thinking about something else. Like, the body is really tricky, how it reveals some things to us, hides some things from us. It's a very dense piece of matter, I guess. I don't know how to explain it, but because I didn't go out seeking these experiences. They just kind of came to me. Maybe it's, it's easier for me to share all things because, I mean, that's my experience. This is what happened. I don't have to question, is it real? Is it not real? It happened. Like something is real out there. Whether it boggles my mind to think that there are people that have never had, had someone talk to them in their ear before. Like to me, just so many millions of people on this planet, that's considered, hearing a voice in your ear is considered abnormal. But to me, it shocks me to think that there are people that haven't had those types of communications. So maybe that's why, when I started that site, I just wanted to maybe give people a different way of looking at things, or just opening up a little bit to allow, because I think you have to allow some of this communication. Most of the books, the people that I've listened to, or the books that I've read, or classes that I've been to, they invite these things into your life. That was an experience. It just came. But maybe if you're really closed-minded about something, then maybe, obviously you do have to open up a little bit to allow those experiences. But I think some people that have them are afraid to voice them because they're seen as abnormal by so many people. And it's kind of like trials. You have to be careful who you say what, or you could say the wrong thing to the wrong person. Or just like in this book, they're telling him, don't tell anybody. Just keep this quiet. And then he begins to wonder, I don't know where it's at in the book, but he begins to wonder how many other people have had these revelations, but nobody knows about it because they weren't ready to say anything because it was considered abnormal and they would have been persecuted by the church or whatever. So I guess we'll never really know how many people have, quote, paranormal experiences, because so many of them are sadly we discuss.
Yeah, I think you're right, Catherine. Although I have noticed over the years, I mean, now with the advent of the internet, and everybody's on the internet doing something in some way, shape, or form. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people are, and more people are expressing, opposing points of view, or just different points of view on life in general. And because it just amazes me every day how many different teachers are out there sharing their experiences in every aspect of reality, or reality. What you want to call it? It's not normal because I mean we all are experiencing something completely different than everyone else, but our own perspective will be more appropriate, I think. But I mean, you can look on like the Louis Hay website, and there's another one that I get emails for, and I can't remember what the name of it is. There's like different teachers on there all the time. They all teach different aspects of energy healing, and intuition, and psychic, and astrology, and all of these different things. And those are just a few of the different possibilities of what a person could possibly experience in the world. And I think it's really awesome that people are feeling more and more comfortable in this day and age to be able to express those things and not necessarily be, ostracized by everyone else, or more and more people are being open to the possibilities that maybe there is more than what we can see and feel, experience with our five little senses. But, in the book where you're talking about the different abilities, one of the abilities that you mentioned is what is it? The one that is omniscient, I think. Let's see. Yeah, he says, God is not corporeal. He couldn't possibly be, not if he is to be everywhere. You can't hear everything with a fleshy ear or see everything with a limited eye. But yet, most people maintain there's this preconceived idea of what God is, but yet we sit here and actually say that he is everywhere and can see everything and can know everything. It's impossible for him to be a fleshy human being. It's impossible for him to be any object for that matter because we can't see everything, obviously, because we are locked in this little body that has only these five senses. And, maybe some of us have other senses that we've become aware of over the years, or maybe ever since we were young, like Catherine. But when you think about it that way, I mean, obviously, we can't see all that there is to see or know all that there is to know because we're in these bodies that, and I think you're right, I think that the body is the veil. And, you can't hear, there's all kinds of different things that your experience that create equipment to be able to, see infrared. And we know that's a thing, right? So, I mean, so I can't feel too, just because you can't see them, feel or taste or smell doesn't mean you don't exist. I mean, obviously, you do so.
I always get so many thoughts as each of us talks. It's just amazing to me. I really, when you think about being a fly on the wall, if I could be a fly on the wall of someone who watched our discussions, which takes me back to yours again, Catherine, because the woman that commented that I remembered how much I liked her and how much I think the same way. She made a comment to the effect how she just really liked it that we all got on and we just talked about our experience. We just didn't hold anything back. I mean, that's what we're doing. We're being totally transparent. I mean, if we realize that all the Russian community at this time were being blared with the bugs that are, in all American homes from the Russians, we probably be a lot more discreet. But this idea of omniscience, I first have to say, one of the things that I look for in myself as I'm just kind of going through my day is, am I getting butthurt here? And I'm thinking to myself, why are we talking about omniscience first? Doesn't that come from the Bible? And I had been through my faith crisis to the extent that I had considered that maybe even the Bible wasn't something that was totally God-sent, that wasn't necessarily, his imprint for the world of how we should be. And so I'm thinking, so why do we have to bother with omniscience, omnipresence, omnipotent? Is that something that as human beings, if I was in France and I was meeting someone and I said, don't you think that a God who's omniscient would be happy that you and I are meeting one another right now? I mean, does everybody in the world accept that a God has to be omniscient, first of all? And if so, does that really mean that he can't be corporeal? I mean, I'm looking at this chapter, and now I'm thinking about it several months ago, because I read it several months ago. I'm thinking about how many times I get myself all butthurt in this chapter, because I'm thinking, who told us? Who told you? Who told me? God's omniscient. And could they possibly be right? Or is God something other than something that could be omniscient? I mean, I'd really like to know. I'm getting up.
That's a good point, Karen. We don't know is we we've been told what God supposedly is or isn't or whatever, but it's been handed down for generation after generation from church to people, and who was it that originally came up with this idea? Who I don't know. I really don't. I mean, I don't even know how far back the idea of God in this kind of defining way was developed. And was it just that people were trying to figure things out and they were like, well, shit happens. I don't know why, so it must be that something else is making it happen. And now we have to come up with a definition of it. I don't know. I mean, I've thought about a completely different idea. Well, I mean, it's not probably not different to everyone, but I've thought, if we look in a microscope, we see way down into the tiniest things. Those tiny little atoms, electrons, or whatever they are, have a whole world of things going on inside of them, and those things can't see us, And so, who's to say there isn't something way up bigger than what we are? And if they looked into a microscope, they could see down and see us. If they wouldn't have anything to do with us, we wouldn't have anything to do with them. We'd never even know we each existed. So, I mean, there's no way to know that isn't possible. We're just some tiny little thing in a big chain of small and big, and who knows? Maybe we're inside of a cell, and it's like another big object, and who knows? There's no way to know these things. But if we're trying to define God in terms of what humans typically think that God is, and they talk. He talks about Gabriel being he's there appearing as an angel, but yet he's not really there because he's just seeing him in his mind, and so he's not really corporeal, but he's not really invisible. He sees them, but he's kind of translucent. We'll see me as a force. But what does that really even mean? If it's a force, if God is something of a force, then we still come back down to what our human definition of a force is. So it all comes back down to we're trying to describe something we don't fully understand with words that come from humans, and how do we even? I mean, there's no way that we can possibly know. All we can really do is just take our experiences and take them with a grain of salt. I don't know. So, but I mean, as far as this book goes, I mean, I feel like these defining qualities that they're trying to say that God is are based on what humans have said that they think that God is. And so if we get down to the basic things that supposedly most humans agree upon, then we come up with these all powerful, all knowing, all present. I think that's where we come to with this chapter, because I mean, I think there's really no way to know, to be honest. My personal opinion, there's no way to know what if God really is God, if there is such a thing as God, or if there is not, or if we just are all floating around in a big space of ebb and flow, and we're just all a part of it, and that's it. I don't know.
And if everybody would just admit that they don't know, we might be farther along than what we are, instead of being brainwashed with people's convictions that have no basis in truth.
Or if they just realize that everything that we think we know is based on what we are humans, so we have no other way to experience things other than being human. So we just realize we're all based in this human existence, and we can only know what we know as humans, and we can only experience and experiment as humans. I mean, I guess when we pass on to our next experience, then we will be able to experiment in that experience too.
A little earlier, while you were speaking, Samantha, it came to my mind that one of my really good friends, before I went into 2018 and had such a topsy-turvy year and basically went into isolation again, she and I talked a lot about our concepts of God. And one of the things that she brought up was, I've been doing a lot of reading about whatever and studying about this, and the concept of God with this is that it's some kind of a being who's managed to create all of us to learn from. In other words, watching all of our experiences, seeing all our divorces, our accidents, our surgeries, our evolution of whatever kind, just makes more more advanced. And people who can only observe someone else's belief that's different from theirs, from the viewpoint of, I can't even believe you're saying that. I can't even believe you would even allow a thought like that to come. I was kind of in that position of thinking, surely you don't really believe that God is observing us to get insights from. I'm meeting again.
I had a thought on that one. So not too long ago, I was listening to it was like a philosophy. Was it philosophy? Yeah, I think it was a philosophy. I don't know. I think it was philosophy. Anyway, it was this like educational thing that kind of describes what philosophy is and all the different aspects and these thoughts from the beginning of time up until however far into the course I got. And and anyway, so if that's not the right topic, I digress. But anyway, so one of the things that was being discussed, and this is just a tiny little bit in the whole grand conversation. But anyway, they were saying, here's one possibility. If, like what you were just saying, say a being who has created all of us to understand something, what if on a completely different aspect or opposite opposing thought in the same direction, is it possible that at some point in time in the future, they're going to be able to complete or create a computer program that is a simulation of all of humanity? So, like in this little computer program, it simulates, all these people, all the relationships, all their this, that, the other, all their life experiences, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And, are we inside of that program and we just don't even know it? Kind of like the Matrix, I don't know if you guys seen the Matrix movie, only not like plugged into battery, like being battery packed or whatever, but like, this computer program, right? It's like this actually a program that's supposed to figure out, different possibilities, say, how to avoid war or whatever. If we plug in these criteria and we put it into this computer program with the whole entire world of humans, what happens, kind of thing. And so it was talking about that, and it was saying, if that is possible in the future, there is a possibility that we could actually be in that program right now. Think about that. So, just as it came up for me when you were talking.
Well, this is one place where being a gamer, like I've watched how games have progressed for years, and there are games now that literally look like people. I mean, they just look like real actors playing in there. You would never be able to tell that it was a game unless you knew it was a game. So I think that's completely within the realm of possibility. And when what was it? Was it the Hunger Games with Cat? Oh, I forget if that was the right name of that movie. There was a series of movies, and they were kind of in this post-apocalyptic, I can never say that word, but you know what I mean, era, and they were able to come to this sphere that would create this alternate world, and the programmers from the outside, and you know, they would see what they were doing, and then they would change things up, the weather or whatnot. Let's see how they handle this, you know, or maybe, you know, one of the programmers would kind of like one of the characters, and they'd send them in something to help them when they were having a little. I mean, it's all within the realm of possibility as far as I'm concerned, because everything that I've learned from day one since I've been here has just been something I was taught by another human, and that was something that they were taught by another human, you know. So I don't know, and that's maybe why I don't balk against people with outrageous ideas, because any of them could be true, as far as I know. There are certainly ones I would rather not be true that I've heard, but I can't say that they are. They aren't, you know, because I really don't know. Like this world has kind of, you know, it's like, look, I'm sitting here looking at these mountains right now, and to me, the mountains and the sky out here are so beautiful. And so sometimes I look at the sky and I think that is a paint program. Somebody is out there doing that on the computer, because it is absolutely too perfect to be, quote, naturally made. And sometimes even clouds, the multiple clouds that are the exact same shape. And if you ever played with paint, they have this sun stamp where you can take a little piece and you can just repeat it, and it looks like that is what's happening, and it really plays with my mind sometimes, because I try to figure out, okay, what's going on here? What is real and what isn't real? And is it all real? Is none of it real? And I think that's why, and you know, this is a sensitive subject, but that's why I get upset when people are labeled as different in whatever regard, because their beliefs are not mainstream, you know. Because I think mainstream is the wrongest population of all, basically, you know. If there is such a thing as right and wrong. And I don't know, you gotta watch the Shack. I really like the God in the Shack, because I don't know, when I think about trying to be a God of a world, that's why I don't, you know, a lot of people say, oh, you are God, everybody's God. Well, I don't want to be God. To me, God has a hell of a lot of responsibility. I mean, I can't even maintain responsibility for the shit that I have going on right now. Like, I don't want responsibility for everybody else, and God bless God for, you know, even wanting to do that? And would anybody want to do that? And would that person, if that person were, quote, human, see, that's why God can't be human, because to me, humans are so frail and so, controlled and misled by the mind at times. And I think, and I will always believe that a big part of that is that, somehow we are interconnected. We do pick up energy and emotions from other people. And that's never been more evident to me than doing this ride share work, because I can have people get in my car and my entire mood will just flip. And I know it's because I'm picking up whatever they have going on. It doesn't mean I have to act out on it or anything, but I can go from, loving my life and being in a really joyous, happy mood. Somebody gets in the car and I'm ready to slit my throat and kill 12 people. It's it's like, oh my God, what just happened? But at the same time, I've had so many experiences where God, whoever, whatever you want to call it, has literally saved my ass, with warnings or, keeping me from doing something that I find out later. Oh yeah, like you hear about the people on 9/11 that didn't make their flight or whatever to get to work that day. Stuff like that. That I do believe there's some kind of personal relationship there, some sort of omniscience somehow, because I don't have God's entire attention, and yet God saves me from it. So, it's I just love that here. That's why I love this thing that we do here, because we can talk about these things, and admit, I don't know, it doesn't make sense to me. Hey, this is what happened, and I don't understand it. And will we ever get to the bottom of it? I doubt it. There's just no way. And that's okay too,
Such profundity. I think we're just an amazing crew. I truly don't know why there is some group, some political groups, some nefarious groups, some detective groups, some intelligence group, somebody that's following us, because I just think they gain so much. They would just have so much greater an understanding of the inner part of human beings that people don't normally expose, because I think we expose that about ourselves. And gosh, I think it's cool. I think it's exciting, and my family doesn't matter to my brothers, doesn't matter to any of my mates. The residents here. I can't think of anybody that is the same value on the things that I place value on. It's like this setting that we have, and that has been like that. And we're at the top of the hour, and I'm just going to mention, I had told Sam before we started the meeting, I'm in some kind of an episode. I was possibly manic yesterday. I got myself kicked out of my home, my long care residence home, and that's the kind of thing that happens when I'm manic. It's when I've been fired, it's when I've been evicted, and when I'm shit, and when I'm just intolerable and no one can stand me and take anymore. I'm really slowed down this morning, and and I'm probably, if anything, probably turning into depression. And I was just acknowledging to several people before yesterday how wonderful it was for the first time in my adult life to feel good about Christmas, to feel good about December, to feel good about the kinds of things that people talk about. Shopping, which is gross and different in normal strain of my mind. And I know that you guys care about me, and I'm scared. I'm really scared. So if you feel like calling me, if you feel like I've got to wear my room of my own, you want to, I think I've got 20 minutes. I may be wrong about that. If you want to get on there with me face to face and help me, if anybody out there is watching this and wants to check on me, even if I don't know who you are, call me on the phone, leave a message. I'm 70 years old. I don't just fucking pick up the phone and say, "Oh, hey, blah, blah, blah. You say that Social Security is canceled? Well, what am I supposed to do?" Don't answer just any call. But somehow, somebody who'd like to help me, please help me. I need it. Thank you.
Karen, we're here for you. We love you so much.
Thank you.
I'm sorry you're going through this. That sucks. I don't know how to help you. Tell me what you need.
I was trying to tell the owner of this place yesterday. He asked me probably 3 times in a row, "What do you want?" This is what I tried to say. I want to be listened to. I want to be heard. I want to be able to dialogue with people. Do you know how many times, and maybe Samantha, you don't know because you have a life partner, but do you know how many times people in today's world get shut up, blocked off? They get personal about their lives, and nobody wants to fucking hear it. Nobody does, and so they turn away, they walk away, they quit, they hang up, they do anything but just say, "You know what? I'm an adult person. I'm here in big pants, big panties, and I can listen to you. And if you swear, and I thought you were kind of a person who would swear, I can deal with it, and I can still love you, and I can still love you, and I can still let you know that I care." That's what I want. I want people who are human enough, big enough, in good enough moods. I'm not trying to bring anybody down, but if you're able to be there in that way, that's what I want. That's what I want. And I thank you because I know that you two people are people I can say that to, and then I know that you feel that way. And if you don't have time to call me ever between now and Christmas or when I'm out on the street or whatever it is, I'll still know you feel that way. I will know that. And I thank you very much.
We love you, Karen.
Thank you.
And anytime. You have my phone number too, and you can call me anytime.
Is yours the same, Catherine? I'm not sure if I have it simply because I have a phone, and I've always been a boggler on the phone, and I don't know where I put my phone numbers. I don't know if it's in the phone or in the contacts. If it's in the contacts, if that means Google, I don't know that stuff, so I'm not sure if I still have it. So maybe, Sam, if you could text that to me or something. Thanks. Oh, cool. See, I didn't even know you had that ability. I did. I'm kidding.
I just recently did, actually.
Okay. Okay. Nobody's hand you see the snot drip off my nose.
I would offer you one, but it comes through.
Thank you.
There you go. Oh, Karen, I'm sorry you're going through what you're going through. That's got to be really difficult. And it sounds like you are not getting the connection from family that you need.
Actually, my sons they're tremendous. They are literally, I mean, they are stars. They ought to be the president of the United States rather than the emotional cripple that we have.
I'm going to go ahead and end our recording for today. And